Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories. And one of the big developments that happened today was, of course, the controversy in the International Cricket Council. The World Cup is just over. So from the on-field action, the focus is now shifted to what's been happening off-field. And we'll have a special guest, Shekhar Luthra, sports editor of DNA, will be joining us to help us understand what's been going on in the ICC. All that and more over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. First batch of 349 Indians rescued by Indian Navy expected to fly home by midnight. Government says 750 Indians evacuated so far from Yemen. Government unveils new foreign trade policy, says it will boost exports and create jobs besides supporting centers Make in India and Digital India initiatives. Supreme Court stays trial court summons to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, asked the CBI to reply why it didn't seek sanction before it was issued. State-run oil firms cut fuel prices, petrol cut by 49 paise per litre and diesel by 1.21 paise per, ₹1.21 per litre. And International Cricket Council President Mustafa Kamal resigns after controversy over Cricket World Cup 2015 award ceremony. Top story this evening. At least 349 Indians have been rescued by the Indian Navy from strife-torn Yemen last night. INS Sumitra took the rescued group to the neighbouring territory of Djibouti, which lies across the Red Sea. Indian Air Force's C-17 planes are expected to fly them home soon. So far, the centres managed to evacuate around 750 Indians among 4,000 trapped amid Saudi airstrikes.
Amid bombing and fighting all around the Yemen's port city of Aden, Indian Navy undertook a daredevil rescue act to evacuate around 350 Indians. They were caught in the crossfire amid heavy bombing by Saudi Air Force targeting Houthi rebels who have taken over the reins in the country. The rescue took place in total darkness on Tuesday night. INS Sumitra took the evacuees, including over 100 women and children, to the town of Djibouti across the Red Sea. The Indian Air Force's C-17 planes will be flying them home.
We have a contingent of Indian diplomats and senior officials headed by the Minister of State, Mr. V.K. Singh, to oversee their return to India from there.
The centre has deployed warships and planes to speed up the evacuation process in Yemen, where close to 4,000 Indians are believed to be trapped. So far, 750 of them have been rescued. Meanwhile, Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy has urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to step up efforts to rescue stranded nurses in Yemen. He has received calls from the victims complaining about hospital authorities not cooperating with them in their bid to leave the country. On Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Saudi Arabia's King Salman. He assured the Prime Minister of full assistance to safely evacuate the stranded Indians. Two more naval ships, the INS Mumbai and INS Tarkash, will escort passenger liners Kavarathi and Coral, which are heading for Yemen. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Saudi-led allies stepped up offensive in Yemen to overthrow the Houthi rebels. An airstrike on Yemen's Hodeidah destroyed a factory, killing 23 workers. Airstrikes overnight hit Houthi bases along the Saudi border in Yemen's north, army bases in the Central Highlands and air defense infrastructure in the eastern Maghrib province. The operation aims to prevent the Houthis and former President Ali Abdullah Saleh from winning control of the country and wants to reinstate Saudi-backed President Mansour Hadi. Saudi Arabia has indicated that it would continue with its military offensive.
ولسوف تستمر عاصفة الحزم للدفاع عن الشرعية في اليمن حتى تحقق أهدافها بإذن الله تعالى ويعود اليمن.
The government unveiled its foreign trade policy for 5 years from 2015 to 2022. Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the new policy will boost exports and create jobs. It will also support the government's Make in India and Digital India programs. Highlights of the new policy include a reduction of export obligation under the Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme by 25% to promote domestic manufacturing. focus on defense, pharma, environment-friendly products and value-added exports. Commerce Secretary Rajya said that the policy will be reviewed after 2.5 years.
The focus of the new policy is to support both the manufacturing and services sectors with a special emphasis on improving the ease of doing business. Our objective is to provide a stable and sustainable policy environment for foreign trade in both merchandise and services. We aim to help various sectors of the Indian economy to gain global competitiveness.
Now, after 2 successive hikes in the last 2 months, the prices of petrol and diesel were reduced today amid lower global oil prices. The price of petrol has been cut by 49 paise per litre and diesel by 1 rupee and 21 paise per litre. The reduction in rates will be effective from midnight tonight. Earlier, the price of petrol had been reduced 10 times since August 2014. Diesel prices were also cut 6 times since the same time. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh doesn't have to appear in a Delhi court on the 8th of April. The Supreme Court today stayed summons issued to him by a CBI court in the coal block allocation scam. The stay also applies to Hindalco chairman Kumar Mangalam Birla and former coal secretary PC Parak.
The Supreme Court has stayed summons issued against former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and 5 others in a coal block allocation case. Singh was told to make a personal appearance before the court for the illegal allotment of the Talabira 2 coal block in Odisha to the Aditya Birla Group company Hindalco in the year 2005. Singh held direct charge of the coal ministry back then.
The Honorable Supreme Court, after hearing arguments advanced on behalf of Dr. Manmohan Singh and others, came to the conclusion that since important and substantial questions of law and the processes of criminal trial were involved to be decided, they would like to decide those issues, and in the meantime they have ordered stay of the proceedings before the trial court and the stay of the summoning order.
Appearing for the former Prime Minister, senior advocate Kapil Sibal argued that there was no criminal intention in the allocation as it was an administrative decision. The defence also questioned the legality of the summons, citing lack of sanction as required under the CRPC. The Supreme Court has sought reply from the CBI within 3 weeks.
The cognizance had been taken of offences under the IPC without there being any sanction for prosecution under section 197 of CRPC, and also the fact that which was most disturbing is that not a word is said as to why sanction under 197 has not been taken.
Congress leaders welcomed the ruling while the government called it part of the legal procedure.
It's a right move. I think there should be an inquiry on why this government, present BJP government, is so ferocious and atrocious in trying to book the former Prime Minister, who is a very straightforward person.
It's part of a legal process. The larger issue for the country is, this again emphasizes or brings to the fore the fact that Congress did messed up in coal block allocation.
Manmohan Singh had sought quashing of the summons on the 11th of March on grounds that the order was passed without application of mine and was bad in law. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today dedicated funds worth 12,000 crore rupees for an expansion project to Odisha's Rourkela steel plant. Under the modernization project, the Prime Minister inaugurated the second plant, which has increased the capacity to 4.5 million tons per annum. He also assured centre's help to develop the state, offering skill development for youth.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated 12,000 crore rupees expansion and modernization project for Odisha's Rourkela steel plant. He unveiled the new plant at Rourkela with plans to further expand the government-run enterprise. Operationalization of the new integrated steel-making facilities will now raise the plant's production capacity to more than double.
मेरा पूरा ध्यान इस बात पर है कि भारत का पूर्वी इलाका, उड़ीसा से लेकर के गुवाहाटी तक पूरा इलाका, यह कैसे सामर्थ्यवान बने, कैसे विकास की यात्रा में भागीदार बने। इसलिए सरकार की सारी योजनाएं विकास की उस दिशा में ले जाने का हमारा प्रयास है।
Greeting the people of Odisha on Utkal Divas, the Prime Minister also assured continued assistance from the centre to the states, offering skill development for youth.
कितनी बड़ी ताकत है हमारे पास, उनको अगर अवसर मिलेगा, उन्हें अगर रोजगार मिलेगा, उनका अगर सही स्किल डेवलपमेंट होगा, तो ये हमारे नौजवान पिछले 60 साल में हिंदुस्तान जहां पहुंचा है, 10 साल में उससे तेज गति से आगे ले जाएंगे। ये मुझे मेरे नौजवानों पर पूरा भरोसा है।
Modi was accompanied by Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik and senior officials of SAIL to the RSP premises. Modi also saw the functioning of the new plate mill that has been installed as part of the program. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Now, opposition parties strongly condemned remarks made by Union Minister of State Giriraj Singh. Singh sparked a controversy while speaking to newspersons yesterday in Bihar's Hajipur district. In remarks targeted at Congress President Sonia Gandhi, Singh questioned if the Congress would have accepted her leadership if she wasn't white-skinned. He later expressed regret over his remarks. The Congress said it strongly condemned what it called intemperate remarks.
बहुत तेजी से उस दिशा में काम हो रहा है। शरद जी का बयान पढ़े ही होंगे और माननीय मुलायम सिंह जी के साथ बात हुई थी हम लोगों की। हम लोगों ने कहा कि तेजी किया जाए, जो भी करना है तो तेजी में है सब बात।
गिरिराज सिंह जो बिहार से मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं और इस वक्त राज्य मंत्री हैं, दरअसल वो बहुत ही ऊटपटांग बातें बोलते हैं और बाकी में उनको तवज्जो नहीं देना था।
I strongly condemn the derogatory remarks used by a union minister against Srimati Sonia Gandhi. It is not just derogatory to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, but to all women of this country. I think it has become a habit with BJP ministers to make these kind of outlandish remarks. We seek an apology from the Prime Minister, and I think Giriraj Singh has been used to making these kind of statements.
Well, more news from across the country and nationwide now. Farmers in Tamil Nadu held a demonstration urging the government to give them financial assistance. Several districts in the state are facing a drought-like situation. Farmers stood in sea water, forming a human chain to protest, even threatening to commit suicide. The farmers have also tried to meet Tamil Nadu Chief Minister with their demands. Rajasthan today banned camel slaughter as the Assembly passed the Rajasthan Camel Prohibition, Slaughter and Regulation of Temporary Migration or Export Bill. The bill also sets a 5-year jail term and a fine for slaughtering or injuring the animal. Last year, Rajasthan designated camel as a state animal, hoping to curb the growing illegal trade of camels and camel meat. Kerala police today began enforcing liquor ban in the state. The move comes after a court upheld the Kerala government's decision to ban sale of liquor except at premium hotels. Last year, Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy said that the state government was in favour of total prohibition from April. A man was arrested for shooting an 18-year-old girl dead at school last night in Bengaluru. The incident took place when an office attendant barged into the hostel in school premises and opened fire at 2 girls. One of the 2 succumbed to her injuries while the other is out of danger. Well, time for a quick break right now, but coming up on the other side, all the sports news. Indian shuttlers make headway. Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth reach the second round of the Malaysian Open. More on that on the other side.
An age-old higher education regulator, tagged as ineffective, recommended to be wound up. Should the UGC be scrapped? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, sports now. An International Cricket Council President, Mustafa Kamal, has resigned from his post today. The decision comes after he accused the ICC of acting unlawfully. Kamal was upset that he was not allowed to present the World Cup trophy to champions Australia last Sunday instead of ICC chairperson N. Srinivasan. Announcing his decision today, Kamal accused ICC of constitutional violation. He was reportedly denied the honours after he blamed poor umpiring for Bangladesh's loss to India in the quarterfinals. He had accused the global body of a bias towards India, terming it the Indian Cricket Council. ICC was forced to issue a statement to reject his charges. And sports editor of the DNA newspaper, Shekhar Luthra, now joins us to help us understand. Shekhar, I mean, the World Cup's it's just a few days since it's over, and already the politics of this sport once again coming to fore, and the same person in question, N. Srinivasan this time. But as far as Mustafa Kamal was concerned, he also on a little bit of a sticky wicket as far as this is concerned?
Certainly, I think, don't look at the politics of what is happening, but look at the irony, A man who was termed by Supreme Court not fit to rule Indian cricket is now ruling the international cricket. That's the worst thing I could, see in my 20-year career. But overall, I think, look at the scenario also which is emerging after Mustafa Kamal, who is going to take his, dictates. Now is the Pakistan turn, Mr. Najam Sethi. Can he become will he actually now accept the, offer to be ICC president? That's another controversy which is, which could be, in the future to come. But overall, I think Mustafa Kamal is very right in when he says that it was his right, it was his, overall duty as a ICC president to present trophy to the winning team, which has been happening for so many years. Whether it was Mr. Sharad Pawar, if you remember that time, whether it was Ehsan Mani or any other person. So how could Srinivasan, a person who is allegedly tainted, I would always say, and who had so many things to clear up, suddenly sideline him just because he has spoken something against India. I'm not going into what happened between India and Bangladesh match. I'm not completely with Mr. Kamal on that, that Beamer thing. But overall, it was a complete, complete day-night robbery when it came to, his duty as a president. So overall, somebody has to stop this man. This man has, nobody in the BCCI has the spine to stop him. Nobody could ask him to not to, go there. In a way, this is a very, very strange scenario.
All right, but doesn't it speak for the way the sport is now even being covered internationally? We've raised questions, we've talked about the problems that the BCCI has been having, but the ICC itself, rather than focus on sports, the same problem over there, who gets the main post seems to be the problem over there as well.
Well, ICC used to be toothless body till few years back, unless, Indians actually started going there, taking over the reins of ICC. Before that, they had absolutely nothing apart from, conducting few tournaments. But since people like Srinivasan or his predecessor, they went there, they created that monster, that BCCI monster, they also created at the international level. Now what is happening? We are taking all the money from the ICC along with Australia and England. Of course, we have been providing them, or we have been feeding ICC a lot. But what will happen when we'll come to that slide point? Will they all, get together and kick India out of ICC? That's a very strange situation which is happening right now. And also, somewhere, a person like, Srinivasan, he should be asked to stay away from ICC till Mr. Justice Lodha actually, rules what has happened, whether that was right or wrong. And I also remember during that 18-month long period when this case was being heard in the Supreme Court, every time he attended the meeting, he ruled the whatever he wanted to do. Nobody could stop him. And when actually Supreme Court asked him why he attended, he just tendered in merely an apology. So somewhere, this man is a complete control freak. Somebody has to stop him. That's all I can say.
All right, so accountability certainly is being questioned, but Shekhar, we leave it at that for now. Thanks very much for coming in and helping us understand this issue a little better. Well, time now for all the other sports news and updates in Sports Speed. Indian shuttlers Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth reached the second round of the Malaysian Open in Kuala Lumpur today. World number 1 Saina beat Indonesia's Maria Febe at 21-13, 21-16 in the women's singles. She will next take on a Chinese qualifier in the next round. World number 4 K. Srikanth defeated England's Rajiv Usuf 10-21, 21-15, 22-24 in the men's singles. He will clash with world number 16 Tian Hui of China tomorrow. Indian tennis player Sania Mirza and her Swiss partner Martina Hingis have entered the women's doubles semi-finals of the Miami Open. The top-seeded Indo-Swiss duo served past the Rodionova sisters Anastasia and Arina 6-3, 6-4 in the quarter-final encounter. Defending champion Novak Djokovic reached the quarter-finals of the Miami Open. He defeated Alexander Dolgopolov 7-6, 6-5, 6-0 in the fourth round. Britain's Andy Murray also won the 500th match of his career to reach the last 8. Murray defeated Kevin Anderson 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 to advance to the quarterfinals. Argentina beat Ecuador 2-1 to notch a second straight Copa America warm-up victory in New Jersey. Sergio Aguero and Javier Pastore scored in each half to register the win. However, Lionel Messi did not play the match due to an injury to his right foot. This is Argentina's second win since beating Germany in a friendly last September. Well, some international news now. Nigerian opposition leader Muhammadu Buhari is going to be the country's new president. Buhari came out tops after counting ended late on Tuesday by a margin of votes. Buhari secured 52.4% of the votes, while Goodluck Jonathan trailed behind with just 43.7%. Now, international observers hailed the election despite allegations of fraud.
Nigeria has voted for a change. Muhammadu Buhari becomes the first opposition leader in Nigeria to win the presidential election by a margin of over 2 million votes. Supporters flocked onto the streets waving flags, chanting slogans to celebrate a stunning election victory.
They are out here celebrating because people are tired of impunity, corruption, carelessness, insecurity. As you can see, everybody here in Kaduna, we voted for General Muhammadu Buhari, not because he's a northerner or a Muslim, but because we believe he's going to bring change.
We are all happy because we are witnessing history. History in the sense that this is the first time in Nigeria that a sitting government would be voted out of power using purely democratic means. Before now, when governments are not popular, they either sit tight or they are removed by the military.
Incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan telephoned Buhari to acknowledge his defeat. He also welcomed the decision by the people and said that he will continue to serve the country. His party also issued a statement calling for calm, sober celebrations and warning supporters not to attack opponents.
We were at the middle of a meeting with the international observers to try to see how we can still water the tension down. I called General Buhari, we were going to see him. He told me Mr. President has called him at about 5:15 and congratulated him and conceded defeat.
This is the fourth time 72-year-old Buhari has sought the presidency. He ruled Nigeria from January 1984 until August 1985, taking charge after a military coup in December 1983. Speculations rage as Buhari, during his 18 months in charge, had imprisoned journalists and opposition activists without trial and executed drug traffickers by firing squad in a dictatorial manner. However, with the looming Boko Haram threat in the country, people are expecting a major paradigm shift. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, negotiations between P5+1 countries and Iran resumed in Lausanne, Switzerland today, a day after the 31st March deadline expired for a nuclear deal. This came after talks were carried into Wednesday in hope that a stalemate could be broken on difficult issues. Earlier, blowing through a self-imposed deadline, negotiators from Iran, the United States and 5 allied powers labored into the night trying to hammer out an outline towards a final deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. Now, the UK said the key issues still need to be tackled at talks on Iran's nuclear program, but agreed with Iranian and Russian delegates that there was a broad framework of understanding. A deal would curb the nuclear program in return for sanctions relief.
Non, notre attitude n'a pas changé depuis le début et ça a été la même d'ailleurs lorsque je négociais il y a déjà plusieurs mois, parce que c'est une négociation qui remonte à longtemps. Nous sommes fermes, nous voulons un accord robuste.
这次外长会上，我也与各方分享了关于解决那么焦点和分歧的一些中方的思路。我们相信会对今后的全面协议的达成发挥积极的作用。
Well, some more international news and updates in Global Buzz. The United States will resume suspended military aid to Egypt. US President Barack Obama said that F-16 fighter jets, missiles and M1A1 tank kits would be delivered to Egypt. The aid was put on hold in the wake of a military coup in 2013. Egypt is part of an Arab offensive against Houthi rebels in Yemen and also fighting the Islamic State in Libya. A video has been found purportedly showing the chaotic final seconds on board the Germanwings flight that crashed into the French Alps last week. The German and French media have reported that the video was found on a mobile phone belonging to one of the passengers killed. The video was shot when German pilot Andreas Lubitz deliberately flew the plane into a mountain. The investigators into the crash have called for the footage of the disaster to be handed over to the authorities. Rescue operations continue even as the death toll in northern Chile floods has risen to 23 with 49 people missing. At least 27,000 people have been rendered homeless. Rivers have burst their banks, flooding towns, making roads impassable. That's it from us. Goodbye.